Have you ever walked away from a conversation feeling strangely guilty, even though you did nothing wrong? Have you ever felt pressured to say yes when deep down you wanted to say no? If so, there's a good chance you've been manipulated. And the scariest part is, most of the time, you don't even realize it until much later. Manipulation hides in plain sight, disguised as kindness, concern, or love. But if you know the signs, you can protect yourself before it's too late. Today, we will uncover 10 subtle but powerful ways people manipulate you without you even noticing. Pay close attention, because one of these might already be happening in your life right now. The first sign you're being manipulated is guilt tripping. This is when someone uses your sense of morality against you. They say things like, "After everything I've done for you, you can't even do this one thing for me." Or, "If you cared about me, you wouldn't say no." Suddenly, you're not just rejecting a request, you're rejecting the person, or so they want you to believe. Guilt tripping is effective because it attacks your conscience. It turns your natural empathy into a weapon against you. If you feel consistently guilty around someone, even for small things, that's a flashing red light. The second sign is gaslighting. This one is dangerous because it makes you doubt your reality. A manipulator will deny things they said, rewrite events, or tell you you're being too sensitive or crazy when you point out something they did. Over time, gaslighting erodes your trust in your memory and perception. Imagine constantly wondering, am I overreacting? Am I remembering this wrong? That's exactly where manipulators want you, confused, doubting yourself, and easier to control. The third sign is love bombing. At first, it feels amazing. Someone showers you with compliments, attention, and affection, making you feel like the most important person in the world. But here's the catch. Love bombing isn't genuine. It's a tactic to quickly lower your defenses and hook you emotionally. Once you're invested, the same person who adored you might suddenly pull away, criticize you, or demand more from you. It's like a pendulum swinging between extreme affection and withdrawal, designed to keep you chasing the high of their approval. The fourth sign is the silent treatment. On the surface, it looks like harmless avoidance, but it's a form of control. By withdrawing affection, communication, or attention, the manipulator forces you into a state of anxiety. You start wondering, what did I do wrong? How can I fix this? The silent treatment punishes you without words and puts the responsibility on you to restore peace, even when you weren't at fault. If you notice that someone frequently shuts down instead of talking things through, you might be caught in this manipulation trap. The fifth sign is playing the victim. Manipulators are masters of turning the spotlight away from their actions and onto their suffering. No matter what happens, they always position themselves as the one who have been wronged. If you confront them about their behavior, suddenly they're the victim of your cruelty. If they mistreat you, they'll explain how it's because of the pain they've endured. By making you feel sorry for them, they avoid accountability and make it harder for you to assert boundaries. At this point, you might already recognize some of these tactics in people around you. But here's the real danger. Manipulation isn't always dramatic or obvious. It often comes from people we trust the most, friends, partners, even family members. And that's why spotting these signs early is so critical. The sixth sign is excessive flattery. Now, compliments are normal and healthy, but when someone constantly praises you in ways that feel over the top, it can be a red flag. Manipulators use flattery to lower your guard and make you more susceptible to their requests. Think about it. If someone tells you how brilliant and kind you are, you're more likely to agree when they ask for a favor. Real admiration is steady and balanced, but manipulative flattery often feels performative and too frequent. The seventh sign is shifting blame. Have you ever noticed how some people never take responsibility, no matter what happens? Everything is always someone else's fault, yours, society's, bad luck, or circumstances beyond their control. Manipulators use blame shifting to escape consequences and keep you stuck in the role of fixer. For example, if they hurt your feelings, they'll say, "Well, if you weren't so sensitive, this wouldn't be a problem." Suddenly, the focus is on you instead of their behavior. Over time, this erodes your confidence and keeps you second-guessing yourself. The eighth sign is creating urgency. Manipulators often pressure you into making quick decisions so you don't have time to think clearly. They'll say things like, "If you don't decide right now, the opportunity will be gone." Or, "You need to help me immediately, or everything will fall apart." Urgency is designed to bypass your logical reasoning and push you into compliance. A healthy person respects your need for time and space to make decisions. A manipulator thrives on rushing you into choices you may later regret. The ninth sign is dangling rewards. This one is subtle but powerful. Manipulators promise something desirable: approval, affection, success, if you behave the way they want. It's like a psychological carrot on a stick. You're constantly chasing validation, hoping that this time they'll finally give you what they've been promising. But the truth is, the reward is often withheld or inconsistent. This unpredictability keeps you hooked, much like a gambler chasing the next win. And finally, the 10th sign is triangulation. This happens when someone brings a third person into the dynamic to control or influence you. For example, they might say, "Even Sarah thinks you're overreacting," or "Everyone agrees with me, not you." By dragging others into the conflict, they isolate you and make you feel outnumbered. Triangulation can destroy your confidence and push you to seek their approval just to feel included again. Now that we've gone through all 10 signs, it's important to pause and reflect. How many of these have you experienced? Do you notice a pattern with certain people in your life? The truth is, manipulation thrives in silence. The more you recognize these patterns, the stronger your defenses become. Another sign that you are being manipulated is the feeling of constantly walking on eggshells around a particular person. Do you notice that your words, your tone, and even your body language must be carefully measured to avoid conflict? This isn't normal. A healthy relationship, whether personal or professional, allows for authenticity. Manipulators, however, create an atmosphere of fear and tension. They want you to censor yourself so that they maintain control. Pay close attention to how relaxed you feel when you're around them. If your stomach knots up or your heart races just at the thought of saying the wrong thing, that's not your fault. It's a crafted environment of manipulation. One of the most insidious tactics manipulators use is turning your strengths into weaknesses. Imagine you are a kind, empathetic, and generous person. A manipulator will exploit these qualities, using your empathy to guilt you into doing things for them, or using your generosity to drain your energy, time, and resources. They take what makes you beautiful and weaponize it against you. This is why manipulation can feel so devastating. It distorts your identity. What once was a strength now becomes a tool someone else controls. Recognize when your natural qualities are being exploited rather than appreciated. Another clear sign is when a person constantly redefines reality for you. You may recall something happening in a certain way, but the manipulator insists it happened differently. They rewrite events, sometimes subtly, sometimes aggressively. This is a powerful form of gaslighting. Over time, you start questioning not only specific memories, but your very ability to trust your perception of the world. Once you doubt your mind, they can implant their version of reality, making you increasingly dependent on their narrative. Notice also how manipulators use silence as a weapon. They may withdraw affection, communication, or attention as a way to punish you. This silent treatment can be more damaging than words because it places you in a void where you feel unseen and unworthy. Silence, in this context, isn't peace, it's control. It forces you to chase after them, to apologize for things you didn't do, to win back what should never have been taken away. Emotional withdrawal is one of the most sophisticated manipulation tactics, and it often leaves victims feeling powerless. Manipulators are also experts at shifting blame. If you bring up a problem, they will twist it so that it becomes your fault. If they hurt you, suddenly, you are the one being accused of being too sensitive, too needy, or too unreasonable. This constant blame shifting erodes your sense of justice. You begin to believe you're always at fault, which keeps you from holding them accountable. Over time, you internalize guilt that was never yours to carry. A manipulator may also isolate you from others. They subtly discourage you from spending time with friends or family, planting seeds of doubt about the people who care for you most. Maybe they say, "I don't think your friend supports you," or "Your family doesn't understand you like I do." Little by little, your circle shrinks until they are your only point of reference. When you lose connection to others, you lose perspective, and isolation makes manipulation easier to sustain. Another red flag is when someone consistently invalidates your feelings. You express sadness and they say, "You're overreacting." You share frustration and they respond with, "Why are you being so dramatic?" By dismissing your emotions, you undermine your inner compass. You begin to believe your feelings are exaggerated or illegitimate. This keeps you from standing up for yourself because you've been trained to doubt the very signals your mind and body are giving you. Manipulators often create cycles of reward and punishment. One day, they shower you with praise, gifts, or affection, and the next day, they withdraw completely or criticize you harshly. This intermittent reinforcement keeps you hooked. Your nervous system becomes addicted to the unpredictable highs and lows, always hoping for the next positive moment. It's the same psychological mechanism that keeps people addicted to slot machines. You never know when you'll win, so you keep playing. Except in this case, the game is your emotional well-being. One of the most overlooked signs is exhaustion. Manipulation drains you, mentally, emotionally, even physically. You might find that after a conversation with this person, you feel depleted rather than energized. You struggle to concentrate, to sleep, or to maintain your own goals and passions. This fatigue is not random. It's the byproduct of being in a relationship where your energy is constantly being redirected to sustain someone else's power. And perhaps the most important sign of all, you feel trapped. Deep down, you sense something is wrong, but you can't quite break free. You may fear losing the relationship, disappointing others, or facing conflict. Manipulation thrives on this entrapment. The manipulator convinces you that leaving will be worse than staying, that you're too weak to stand alone, or that you'll never find someone who treats you better. This illusion of entrapment keeps you chained to the cycle. But here's the truth. Recognizing manipulation is the first step to breaking free from it. Awareness is power. Once you can name the tactics, they lose their hold over you. You begin to see the patterns for what they are, not reflections of your worth, but strategies designed to control you. And once you see it, you cannot unsee it. So ask yourself, do any of these signs resonate with your life right now? Have you noticed yourself shrinking, doubting, apologizing, or feeling drained because of someone else's behavior? If so, you're not alone and you're not powerless. Share your thoughts in the comments. Your story might help someone else recognize manipulation in their own life. Remember this, you deserve relationships that uplift you, not ones that diminish you. Your empathy, kindness, and strength are not weaknesses, they are gifts. The moment you reclaim your energy, set boundaries, and refuse to play the manipulator's game, you step back into your power. And that is something no one can take away. If this video opened your eyes or gave you clarity, don't forget to like it and subscribe to the channel. Every step you take toward awareness is a step toward freedom.